What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what moved it, and the kind of the abnormal scenario that it's playing out with shorts. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went up 1.31%, 1522 the low, 1556 the high. Quite the volatile day, as you can kind of see right here. Did have a little bit lower volume, so 27.7 million shares being traded, 42.4 is the average. That's been more of a common occurrence with SoFi over the last little bit. Just lower volume, big money not really getting into SoFi as it once was. I think it's just a lot of better opportunity costs elsewhere, but nonetheless though, SoFi did recover. I think alongside just fintechs, PayPal recovered, and you also did have this that came out first thing. So ADP employment change came in at 183,000, forecast was 120,000. So hotter than anticipated, but once again, the market kind of is inverse. So it wants negative data, not crazy negative, but just negative enough to prompt and justify a 25 basis point cut. So this did go up slightly, so 16.5% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut for the March 19th meeting. So that's the next one. So we'll wait and see. That would be a pretty good catalyst for a lot of growth stocks. But aside from that, no actual news linked to SoFi, no SEC filings, nothing along those lines. Latest 13 Fs did come out, so you are seeing more and more institutions within Q4 making brand new positions. So a couple of green ones right here, all those are new ones, and I still can't wait for that new SEC transparency rule. I think it's still, from what I've researched, going to be enforced first half of 2025, and that is going to add a hell of a lot of transparency to who is shorting SoFi and just stocks in general. So in case you don't know, these 13 Fs are somewhat flawed, only because if someone is shorting SoFi or whatever else or whatever stock, they don't actually have to disclose them. You only have to disclose your long position. So this is why a lot of these, for instance, 8 shares by Tradewinds Capital, most likely it is a fair assumption that they are shorting. Only because, again, they probably just want to put something down on their 13F that they are long, because I don't see any entity realistically going out to buy 8 shares. But going over here, you can kind of see clearly a lot of entities do fully disclose that they are short SoFi, and same goes for a lot of other stocks. So with that new SEC transparency rule, everyone who is shorting, you have to disclose all longs as well as shorts. So I feel like that is going to be a very big natural deterrent against shorting, because nobody wants to be seen as the Citadel, right? Nobody wants to be seen as the big bad wolf on Wall Street for the most part. So let me know your viewpoint on that, but this is kind of a good transition into shorts. So today, shorts did increase 198,000 shares. 12.28% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 132.19 million shares overall are being shorted. And you can kind of see just from that teal line, they were very active back and forth. So that does match with a lot of this. So a lot of that was derived by shorts. But one thing I do want to bring up though, that was somewhat abnormal, is this scenario. So for those of you that kind of watch my channel, I do bring up cost to borrow minimum is negative, blah, blah, blah. I usually say the same thing because it does mean that there is a broker out there physically paying people to short SoFi. But there are some developments. Now you're seeing cost to borrow average negative. So that means that now there is, once again, multiple different brokers paying people to short SoFi. So now it's not just the one, it's a couple of them. So the cost to borrow average is negative 0.05, and then the average is negative 0.25. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. I still think it'd be stupid to short SoFi, even though it's not really doing all that much. It is trading within a set range, but still, I think based on just market conditions, what SoFi's been achieving from their earnings, I think it's kind of stupid to short SoFi, but it is what it is. Some people have higher risk tolerances than anything. But today, 9.99 million in calls, 8.74 million in puts. 45% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature, and I think it is linked to these three right here. So you have between 11.10 and 11.15, 1.8 million in premiums. So clearly that's not retail, that's institutions. This one between 11.40 and 11.45, 3.2 million. And for an example, if we pull this up, sort it by premiums, it looks as though many different transactions right here. but majority of them are actually bearish. You can kind of see right here, and that's just analyzing where the contract is, the expiry date, and whether it was on the bid or the ask. It kind of analyzes all of that. So pretty much there was a lot of bearishness that was done. It looks as though for May, $16 strike price, so basically like 100 days out. So that is where that one came from. So no matter what though, it is what it is. Today, grand total of 18.7 million in total premiums. Yesterday was 17, day prior was 31, so still a little bit lower, matching with the common stock. Of the call options that were purchased today, you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 16.50, and then for next week now roughly around 17. So optimism definitely has died down quite a lot with SoFi. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 15. So definitely there is more upside than down based on that. These are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So still not all that much. Like I said, big money is like not really getting into SoFi as much as it once was, and that's just lower volume in general. So I think maybe they're just waiting from like for some news from SoFi. Maybe the next upcoming fireside chat on the February 11th, that'll be a good catalyst. Maybe Anthony will drop some crypto news or something along those lines to really incentivize some new buying, innovation, and whatever. But as of today, big money wasn't really doing all that much. So shorts, algorithmic trading, that was kind of where most of the volume was coming from. Based on this, with it at 15.49, it is trading between these 2 points, so this pivot and this S1. 15.93 is going to be that next strong target / resistance. 14.09 is going to be the next strong support. So ultimately didn't really touch either of them, kind of stuck in limbo ultimately. But when it comes down to the chart, let's kind of look at this. So it did close once again below that 50-day moving average, so that is sitting at $15.81. And right now it is below that ALMA, so still showing some signs of consolidation is and might be coming. Looking at stochastic RSI, you do see it rather oversold, but despite that though, you also do see a bearish deviation. So I think just with so many companies missing on their earnings, I think that is spooking a lot of individuals and maybe prompting big money just to kind of take a step back from the equity market. So tomorrow will be very interesting to see once we get the new numbers, because every Thursday we'll be able to find out exactly what happened with big money. And based on last Thursday, it looks like 30.34 billion did leave money markets. So maybe there was a little bit of optimism, but nonetheless, the data when it comes out tomorrow will be interesting to see what big money has been doing, right? Whether they're rotating into, let's say, crypto, equities, or something else. So let me know your viewpoint on SoFi. What is your thoughts on shorts and this whole cost to borrow negative and all that other stuff? Do you think that potentially that new transparency rule, once again, first half of 2025 is going to be a good catalyst and potentially a natural deterrent against shorts? Or do you think it's just going to be another blah? So don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And pop over to my Discord, completely free. A lot of good individuals out there that likes to talk about options, stocks. So definitely worthwhile to go over there, take a look, and do what you need to do. So with all that, appreciate all of you watching.